Supplementary Material Study 6. My name's Jonathan.
And I'm Ben.
This is about proof of the resurrection of Jesus. 4 historical facts nearly all scholars agree on are: number 1, Jesus was crucified and died. This is confirmed by multiple sources, all 4 Gospels, Paul's letters. Tacitus was a Roman historian, Josephus, a Jewish one, all claimed that Jesus was crucified. Now, crucifixion for the Romans was public, brutal, and confirmed by Roman executioners.
The other thing that nearly all scholars agree on is that Jesus' tomb was found empty. We see this reported in all 4 Gospels. More than that, we see that women were named as the first witnesses of the resurrection. Now, that is a detail which is unlikely to be invented in the patriarchal culture of the first century. It just doesn't make sense to name women as your primary source. No body of Jesus was ever produced, despite efforts by his opponent.
Another proof of the resurrection is the fact that many people claimed to see Jesus alive. It wasn't just sort of 1 or 2. There are recorded appearances to individuals and groups, friends of Jesus, skeptics, and even enemies. 1 Corinthians 15, verses 3 to 8, reports a creed about these appearances, dating to within 5 years of the crucifixion. It's incredibly early for a historical document.
The other thing you can't deny is the disciples were transformed from fearful and hiding to bold and joyful. They even underwent persecution, even unto death. Now, they didn't die for a philosophy, for an idea, for a story. They died proclaiming that Jesus rose and they saw him.
Now, over the years, there have been some alternative explanations for Jesus' death and resurrection and why we shouldn't believe it. Some have said they were having hallucinations. The funny thing is that hallucinations are private, not shared by 500 people. They don't explain the empty tomb. Another idea is there was a stolen body. Yes, he did get killed, executed, but they stole the body to make it look like he'd risen again. But who would steal it? The disciples? They were hiding in fear. Why die for a lie? What about the wrong tomb? Others have said, well, he was buried, but then they went to the wrong tomb. Everyone, including the authorities, would have known the correct location. Producing the body would have stopped Christianity immediately.
You know what the best explanation is? Jesus physically rose from the dead. It accounts for all the facts: the empty tomb, the eyewitnesses, the transformation of the disciples, and the birth of the early church. If Christ has not been raised, our faith is futile. Paul says that in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 17. A few verses later, he says, but Christ has indeed been risen from the dead.
It's not just historical, it's personal. The resurrection is not just an ancient event, it's the foundation of living hope today. 1 Peter 1 verse 3 says, he has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. So how would we summarize the supplementary teaching? We'd say, well, the resurrection of Jesus is well attested by ancient sources. It's believed by early eyewitnesses. It's never been refuted by Jesus' enemies. And it's proved itself, belief in Jesus that is, to be transformative in history and today.